Hey everyone, Blake Sloan here. Brand new market update for you. Just finished this week's radio show. We have the brand new Grand Strand market numbers out. They're very, very interesting to say the least. We've had our first month of decline in terms of sales. And typically that's done month versus month, a year versus year. So for example, last month we had single family home sales for resale homes, right, was actually down 8.8% from the same month last year. And so that would be September, right, because they're in arrears. Last month, 661 home sales. If you look at September last year, 771 home sales. And so that's very interesting. Now, if you look at the pattern, though, what really kind of concerns me, we've seen a pretty much decline since June of this year. June of this year was 797 home sales. Then we had July 653, August 661, and this year 661. And so it's been really flat in that terms. Early last month, there was actually a decline. Some of the agents put some of the data in a little bit late, but it's very, very interesting to watch and see what's happening. But to see a year versus year decline just kind of goes to show there is some softening. I called this last month. We track it every week on the radio show. So very interesting just to see that going forward. Also, what we're seeing happen is a little bit of flattening of price. If you look at median price right now for single family home sales, up 20.1% from the same month last year, which is fantastic. But if you look at the last 3 months in a row, it's been hanging right at the same number almost. So last month, median price, 325,000, no big deal, right? Look at the month before that, though, August, 325,000. The month before that, which was in July, 324,750. And so the last 3 months, you've only seen an increase of about $250. And so that does show we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, and that could be just a lot of people are priced out. We have seen a lot of people move to condos, but now there's just hardly any condos available as well. And so the one thing that's been really protecting that has been inventory. We'll talk about that. The good news, though, for home sales, average sale price, a new record, up 17.2%. It's up month versus month versus month for the past few months. $416,721 right now. Very, very good in terms of that. I do think we may see that soften here soon. The great news is always supply and demand based. The lagging indicator, usually a few months behind, is always price. And so we may see that soften here soon. One thing's protecting price, protecting us as a whole, has to do with overall inventory. Inventory is still a super seller's market. It has increased slightly in the past few months, but right now we're at 1.3 months of inventory. That's a 55.2% decrease in the amount of homes for sale versus the same month last year. And so interesting to look at. So that means if you're still thinking about selling, there's still great opportunity. Even though sales are lightening up a little bit, there's still hardly any homes available. And so you want to take really that opportunity and strike while the iron's hot overall. But if you're looking to cap out on the top, you look at median price 3 months in a row, it does show we're hitting a little bit of a ceiling here. Typically after that ceiling, it does tend to decline a little bit as well. We're seeing that in some other markets across the country as well. The one other super interesting number I've been watching that also tells me we're seeing a shift has to do with showings per listing. And so what that means is that's buyer traffic per listing across the board. Now, here's the thing. Last month, there was 6.8 showings per listing, right, which is pretty good. It's up 30.8% from the same time last year. But if you look at the overall trend since April, it's actually declined every month since April. So, for example, the average showing per listing in April is 8.2, going to May 7.8, into June 7.4, July 7.2, August 7.2, and now in September for last month's numbers, 6.8. And so it shows there's just less buyer traffic looking right now per listing. And so it does show a lot of buyers have bought early on. We talked about that in a few updates ago. That first and second quarter were very heavy compared to usual, but it does show a lot of people who were in pain last year, who were frustrated with lockdowns, who are coming from the Northeast, already made that move. And so we are seeing a little bit of softening, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be anything detrimental in terms of real estate related, but that is something to watch overall going forward. Into closed sales for condos. Condo sales doing great. Their sales up 7.9%, which is great. The interesting piece, though, if you look at the amount sold, 643 condo sales last month. We're in a 4-month decline. And so the peak there in condos this year happened in May with 846. In June, 842. A steep drop into July down to 691. Then we saw 692 in August, and also down again at 643 for last month. And so it does show, again, a little bit of softening. The condo market has been very, very hot because home sales, a lot of homeowners have been priced out of trying to buy there. So they tend to move to condos. Months of supply, a new all-time low record, which is interesting here. 0.9 months of inventory, a new all-time low. It's an 80% decrease from the same month last year. There's just hardly any available right now. So if you have a condo to sell, now's the time to do so because we're at an all-time low, right? We are seeing a softening, though. If you go back, 4-month decline in terms of sales, you're going to see that potentially be an opportunity for you to strike at the very, very peak as a homeowner. So we'll keep watching that. That's obviously protecting price, which is very, very good in that terms. And so overall, market's still doing very, very well. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Interest rates have climbed up a little bit with 3.13 today in terms of today's radio show. But if you want to know anything about our whole business or how we can help you, or really just real estate in general, reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. Also, please share this with any friends or relatives that may be interested in learning what's going on. I think with my connections across the country, also being very, very deep in this data, doing 2 radio shows a week, every week, I do feel that we're probably seeing a little bit of a shift here. I called this last month. We did a news interview on that. We are finally seeing some data that's really backing that up. And so if I want to strike while the iron's hot at the top of the top, definitely take that opportunity right now. Reach out to us. Let's get your property sold at the very, very peak. 843-808-SOLD, or reply to this email. There's a free link in the email. You get instant online evaluation also on the side of the page here. But more importantly, you want to get a human valuation. Human valuation is much more valuable. We just had a success story today, which is really, really cool. If you want, I'll kind of just talk about it. This guy, David, who is obviously a client of ours, we actually got him $40,000 more than he thought he could get. We actually said $25,000 above what he thought he could get. He's from Georgia. We're in Myrtle Beach, right? Reach out to us. We said, hey, we can get you $25,000 more minimum. Launch our global marketing blitz. Massive buyers came in. We had a bidding war we created. Drove the price up another $15,000, netted David $40,000 more than he thought he could get just by reaching out to us. And so you, your friends, relatives, don't waste or lose $40,000 by going with the average agent. 843-808-SOLD. We'll see you in the next video.